One. And good afternoon. Welcome back to SNSN Radio. We're doing another video cast to try to keep the public updated on what's happening here in Eastern Connecticut and throughout the state. Mainly, of course, COVID-19, the coronavirus. And we have a couple of guests today that we're going to ask a few questions to. And that's Trooper Dorelus from Connecticut State Police Public Information Office, as well as Trooper Muniz from PIO as well. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
So one of the questions that I have is, what is the state police doing to keep their troopers safe? I mean, we know about public service and what the troopers, do to keep us safe. But what are you troopers doing to keep yourself safe, other than wearing the masks that you are right now?
So obviously, we've been issuing masks, like you said, to all the troopers, and we've provided them with ways to clean the inside of their cruisers, as well to, if we're transporting prisoners, things of that nature, to wipe down the vehicle and disinfect everything. And also, the community has stepped up abundantly and has donated a lot of that material as well. Donated masks, cleaning material, Lysol wipes, things of that nature, to our department, which has been greatly appreciated.
And again, what you'll notice is, even while we're responding to scenes, or even prior to us responding to a scene, if you call 911 and speak to one of our dispatchers, you don't be surprised if they were asking you a series of questions, a series of screening questions, just to determine whether or not you have any signs or symptoms of the COVID-19 virus. That way, it'll better equip us troopers that are actually responding to the scene and making contact with the individual to know what to do, what approach to take. We're definitely making every approach to practice the 6 feet social distancing guidelines while interacting with the public. So again, we're doing a lot to, everything in our power to try to not only keep ourselves safe, keep the community at large safe, but also our friends and family.
So as far as the community is concerned, and the safe workplace rules or executive order that went into place, like myself, I'm here by myself, so I'm not wearing a mask. There's nobody here in this building, and you've been here before, so you know how big this place is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of lonely. But what Governor Lamont also put in, I believe it was you could issue a citation that if people are not practicing social distancing or not being safe in the workplace per the executive order, of $1,000. Now, has state police issued any of them, or what are you doing in lieu of that if you happen to see someone that's not social distancing or not wearing a mask in public when the 6 feet rule is unattainable?
We've definitely been doing everything that we can to enforce the law, but I think our number one priority at this point is to further educate the public. It's not always about issuing a citation or making an arrest. Our number one goal is to educate the public in terms of what they can be doing to better protect themselves and their friends and family. And fortunately, to this point, there's been a lot of cooperation, I think you would say, from the public. If we do come across any gatherings, I think we've been pretty fortunate in trying to, just communicate with the people that we're coming into contact with and making them understand the importance of the 6 feet social distancing guidelines and why they shouldn't be congregating in large groups. So I think we've been pretty fortunate in that regards. And also, I think it's important to recognize certain establishments that are having people come in and shop at their establishments. They're doing a great job at making sure that they're adhering to the guidelines in terms of the amount of people that are allowed inside of their establishments, and making sure that everyone coming into their establishment is properly equipped with a mask, or coming in with a mask to, again, protect themselves and the public.
Trooper Muniz, do you have anything? on that? Or?
No, I think everybody's been pretty responsive. I know we quietly, under the radar, went around to some big establishments a couple weeks ago, I believe it was, and any big stores that were not following these guidelines, we quietly just mentioned it to their to the bosses of of those places, and
Mhm.
they cooperated. They fixed the issues, and I think what we're seeing here in Connecticut is a lot of people are cooperating. A lot of people are obeying these. Yes, there are times it's happening, and like Trooper Dorelus said, we're just trying to educate the public as much as possible. Our goal is not to just go out and just hand out these tickets.
Right.
It's to educate the public as well.
Do you find the people that you talk to about COVID-19, or when the subject does come up, that there's a lot of fear that is inside of people? And I find that people are almost afraid of each other at this point. And can you comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all feel it. Just going to the grocery store now is different. You could feel it just going there shopping. You feel the tenseness in the atmosphere. I think it's something that we're all feeling, that we're all seeing, um, and hopefully, as the time progresses, it will slowly that tension will dissipate. But we're all feeling it. We're all seeing it. Even us as troopers, yeah, we do feel that fear, that tension of, do we want to get close to somebody when we're shopping, when we're going out, and in any of these places. So I think across the board, everyone is feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, I even noticed it. I went into a grocery store last week, and I had a mask on, and I have a lot of post nasal drip, especially because allergies are prevalent this time of year.
Hmm.
So talk about a double whammy. If you clear your throat or something like that, the first thing you get is you get side eye from somebody.
Absolutely.
They're
Feel your
wondering,
pain.
what's going on. Stay away.
I
And
have
like,
allergies as well, so I
yes,
have
you
that as
you
well.
understand.
You're trying to like hold in the little tickle in your throat or sniffle, and it's bad. But
And you're reaching for the milk, and then there's some
right,
lady who just
and
says,
but we're all feeling it. We're all feeling that tension. And it's no, and it's not, it's a new normal, unfortunately. But hopefully it will, as time goes on and we get more educated and medicine progresses, we can overcome this and go back to you know
Life as it was.
life as it was, and
do you,
hugging, being able to hug and being close to each other.
do you think that it'll go back to normal? Like my oldest daughter's 29, and she had said to me, she goes, "Gee, Dad, I can't wait till things get back to normal." And I looked at her and I said, "I don't know if they're ever going to go back to the way they used to be." Is that something that state police realizes as well, or is there something that you're preparing for going on in the future? Because this is, COVID-19. It means there's been 18 before it. There's, it's going to go ahead and, I don't think it's ever going to go back to the way it was.
Well, I think, you know,
And
taking
that's
some of the things.
fear-based too. That's fear-based, and
Yeah,
that's what I want to try to clear up.
I think, having to these past few weeks where we've had to, change our behavior, practice social distancing, avoiding shaking hands or touching your face. I think, these are behaviors that we have. It's hard to say, but become accustomed to. And of
Right.
course, it's going to be hard even thinking that, maybe one day we'll go back to living life as it was. But I'm confident in the fact that we'll get there shortly. We'll get there. We'll get there one day. I think
Gotcha.
we'll get there one day. But even when we're there, we should again be thinking about safe practices, washing our hands on a regular basis, washing your hands for 20 seconds at a time, utilizing soap, hand sanitizer if need be, properly decontaminating yourself when need be. So I think these are behaviors and practices that we should be taking part in on a regular basis, regardless of COVID-19. We should be thinking to ourselves that we should make sure that were practicing cleanly behavior.
It could really just be a wake-up call in disguise. I mean, if we're going to take some sort of positive out of a negative,
Right.
So I want to switch gears and go into, because it's still business as usual for the Connecticut State Police as well as dealing with the virus. But I'm going to ask you guys, I mean, straight up, one question that I ask everybody during these video casts, and hopefully you'll have an answer because it's a big concern nationwide. Did Carol Baskin kill her husband?
You know what, as law enforcement officers, we like to rely on facts and the facts and circumstances of the case. So I don't know. Joe Exotic puts up a great argument.
He does. He does.
I'm not sure if Joe Exotic and Brett Michaels are the same person right now. Anyway,
Oh,
all right.
Lord.
So business as usual with Connecticut State Police, of course. Can we talk about construction zones? Give us an idea of, I mean, of course, yesterday a press release went out where cars got hit in succession and a trooper was compromised as well. How is the trooper doing, as a matter of fact?
Trooper's doing as great as he can be, considering everything that happened. Fortunately, he's alive, still breathing.
Yeah.
So I think that's great within itself.
Okay.
That's what you could ever hope for in a situation like this, because it definitely had the potential to be sour. It could have been a lot worse.
Now, these accidents that happen in construction zones, they happen a lot more often than we realize, I'm sure.
Correct. And I think it speaks to the fact that, we try to do our part in terms of educating the public on the slow down, move over initiative. And, just last week, it was Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. So we try to do our best to try to educate the public. But again, it's a community effort. A lot of these work zone accidents take place because those people are engaging in hazardous driving behavior, whether it be excessive speeds, texting and driving, or impaired driving. And until we as a community begin to follow the rules as it relates to not engaging in these hazardous driving behaviors, these incidents are going to continue to happen, and we could only do so much as troopers. Of course, we're going to be out there enforcing the law. Of course, we're going to be out there doing our best to educate, but again, the onus is on us as a community to do what we can to reduce these numbers.
The big piece that I'm getting from both of you in any subject that, the few subjects that we've talked about, is education. You constantly talk about how troopers are out there to educate the public, to enforce the law, obviously, but it's more about education, more so than handing out a ticket or arresting somebody and taking them in or something like that.
That's definitely a huge part in trying to curb certain behaviors. I mean, of course, you could go out there and enforce the laws as is all day, but at some point there has to be that educational piece. Just because you issue a citation doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna change the behavior. Of course, it may help to change the behavior. If you're issued a whopping $300 speeding citation, but a lot of the time it has to, we as law enforcement officers have to take the time to try to educate and make certain motorists aware of the potential dangers, the potential hazards of certain driving behaviors.
Anything else you gentlemen would like to add before we kind of wrap it up here today? I just wanted to take like 15-20 minutes with you gentlemen, to get a couple of pieces of information. I think we covered the virus pretty well, as far as the Connecticut State Police piece, what you folks are doing. Construction zones, I think are they can be tragic at times, and I really wish that, what bothers me a lot is sometimes I'll be driving and I try to move over and you can't because someone's zooming up on the side of me.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're not looking, and all they got to do is really just hit their brake a little bit so I can get over.
Yeah.
And that's something right there that I think can save a life.
Absolutely. I think it's something that we have to work together. And just like with this coronavirus, we have to work together. With construction zone safety, it's something that we all have to work at. It's not something that, if we had more lights or more cones, it's these things are still going to happen if the drivers are not driving recklessly in one way, shape, or form. We have to make sure that you're not distracted, that you're not driving under the influence. Things of these nature that we all have to participate in and put our work in.
And I will say, I've been in certain situations where I'm driving in the right lane or the furthest right lane, and I'm coming across a construction pattern. And this is while I'm off duty or troopers on the side of the roadway. And I understand what you're saying, Mike. You're in a situation where you can't necessarily move over towards the left because there's a car right there, and the other operator's not getting the hint that you're trying to move over for whatever reason. But I think a huge piece that we tend to forget is the fact that we have the ability to slow down. Again, it's slow down and move over, slow down or move over. And just because you're driving 65 or 55 miles an hour, if you reduce your speed to 65, 55 miles an hour, that's not necessarily enough to save a life. You have to, again, do your best to drastically reduce your speed if in a safe way, of course, if you're unable to move over, because last thing you want to do is cause some type of negative impact to those workers or individuals that are occupying the right shoulder for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, I know myself personally that I drive very quite defensively myself, because I couldn't imagine what life would be like or something if I actually caused an accident that I could have prevented. I couldn't even. So
Absolutely.
I actually take that thought behind the wheel, just because I wouldn't want it done to me, for crying out loud. I wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Any, just to wrap it up, anything else you want to add, like to either to coronavirus or something that you want to mention, or?
Well, I do have a question I want to ask you, Mike.
Okay.
Who do you think did it?
I think Carol Baskin is guilty as sin. That son of a gun, he's underneath the septic tank, just waiting for somebody to dig him up.
Oh Lord.
Oh man.
And I'm not a cop, but I mean, I'm just so I asked that question because Tiger King, that show, is like a train wreck that you can't stop watching. And did you guys watch all the episodes?
Unfortunately.
I watched half of them. I haven't gone to the end yet.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, Trooper Muniz, you got to watch it, because I'm telling
We're not
you.
gonna ruin it for him. So let's cut the
Yeah.
conversation now.
If you've got nothing else to do, for a period of time, I mean, absolutely nothing else to do, watch it. It's kind of funny. But I will suggest one you can binge watch if you guys get a chance. If you haven't seen it, it's Kiefer Sutherland and Designated Survivor.
Okay.
Designated Survivor was good. I watched that one.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
I enjoyed that one.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this morning and having a little chat and get some information out of the public. Trooper Muniz, it's a pleasure meeting you. And gentlemen, I know you guys have families. You guys are people too, just like anybody else. You got a job to do, and we appreciate, I know I do, the job that you do. And stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Bye.